FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried is scheduled to be arraigned later today in U.S. District Court in Manhattan. And NBC News has learned he is expected to plead not guilty.
The former CEO is facing a series of federal charges, including wire fraud and money laundering. Prosecutors believe he conspired to mislead lenders about the state of his company. Now, Bankman-Fried was released on a $250 million bond last week.
NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalos is here with more on all this. Good morning. So what can we expect from Bankman-Fried's legal team today? Clearly not a surprise that he's going to plead not guilty, right?
It's almost a certainty at this kind of initial appearance arraignment. I'm not entirely sure the court could even handle a guilty plea procedurally. So typically what the defendant does is plead not guilty, enter that plea, and then if he wants to change his plea down the line, you just get a change of plea hearing. Everyone rushes in and the defendant can plead guilty. But really, it's just a pro forma thing today. He pleads not guilty. More important, normally you might discuss issues of bail, some other pretrial type issues, and that's about it.
I'm curious what prosecutors have moved very fast on this, and I know that that's a big issue about how fast did they move. But on a relative basis, I think they have moved pretty fast. The question is, how fast do you think this whole thing really happens?
Well, I think you make a point that is missed here, and Damian Williams and his team have done a remarkable job. Your interview with SBF was, what, a month ago, just after Thanksgiving?
Yep.
In the Bahamas. Where is this all going? Now you've gotten the extradition issue off the table. You have cooperating witnesses. You have a trial date. You have what looks from the outside as a pretty orderly administrative process, administration of justice here on this. So look how far the DOJ has come.
Right.
In a month. Pretty good, right?
So here's my question to you, though. This will play out, and there's two options on the table. And I wonder actually whether there'll be two options. There may only be one option, which is there may be a trial, and that'll be the only option for a Sam Bankman-Fried. At some point, if you're a Sam Bankman-Fried, depending on what the evidence is against you, will there be an option, and would the government ever, is it politically palatable for the government to ever even consider some kind of settlement arrangement with a plea? Well, meaning, at what point do you say to yourself, this is, I think it probably depends on the strength of the evidence on one side, but also there's going to be the timing, the costs, and all of those other things in terms of what kind of sentence you think may or may not come from this.
And other things, which is how much of the information that, as you're alluding to in your description, how much of the information that the public wants to know has already come out or comes out as part of any plea process as opposed to a trial process. If all of the information that we as the public want to know about what happened here is on the table, then the question of whether you need to go through a trial and need to go through the expense is diminished, right? Because we as the public who want to find out what happened, want to deter it in the future, know what's going on.
Well, but from a deterrent perspective, you'd think you'd want to go through a full trial unless you thought you didn't have the evidence, right?
It depends on the deterrent effect of the sentence. Whatever the sentence is going to have, I think, the lasting deterrent effect.
But at 30 years old, if I told you it was if I told you it was a life sentence, that would be a real deterrent. If I told you it was a 30-year sentence, would that be a deterrent? These are the...
I think, look.
And this is assuming guilt, and maybe that's unfair to do.
A sentence of that type of length, we certainly believe in this country is a deterrent effect. I mean, for all sorts of heinous crimes.
But what about 15 years? What is